first episode of Mighty Moms on Achievement Channel. I'm your host, Sarah Roberts, and I am thrilled to share this journey with you. Here on Mighty Moms, we celebrate the incredible journey of motherhood, sharing inspiring stories, valuable tips, and heartfelt moments. Whether you are a new mom, an experienced mom, or simply interested in the joys and challenges of motherhood, this is the show for you. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the maiden episode of Mighty Moms right here on Achievement Channel. Sometimes it could be challenging to pay complete attention to your career and still be fully present as an active mom in the lives of our children. On the show today, we will be focusing on balancing career and motherhood. I'm thrilled to welcome our very first guest today, Mrs. Patience Okonta, an exceptional architect, a woman who has maintained world-class standard in the practice of architecture in Nigeria and beyond. She's the managing partner of Interdesigns Partnership, and most importantly, the mighty mom on the very first episode of our show today. Mrs. Okonta, can you tell us a bit about your career journey as an architect and how you managed to balance it with motherhood?
I'm so happy this is called Mighty Moms because my career journey as an architect actually started because of my mum. My mum worked with Aquarium & Associates, an architectural firm, and she was their receptionist. So my first vacation job, or my first job ever, was the photocopying girl at Aquarium & Associates. And from the inspiration that I got there, I made up my mind that I would be an architect. And
Right there and then,
I only had to look at these beautiful things that I was photocopying and issuing to people and the whole ambience of the office, and I knew that I didn't want to do any other thing apart from architecture.
And that, I suppose, led you to a journey of architecture.
Yes.
And so far, have you regretted it?
No, I have never looked back. I've never really wanted to do any other thing apart from the fact that, times are really changing, and you probably need to do a little bit of diversification when you want to fill in gaps here and there. But I love architecture, and architecture has been really good to me.
So being an architect, how were you able to balance it with motherhood?
I was lucky. I was privileged. I had a fantastic family support. My husband was ever ready to, give me the go-ahead to do whatever I needed. And then I had my mum, I had my dad, and I had my brothers and sisters. I had a fantastic family support system, which I don't know what's happened to it in this day and age, but we were privileged, and that's how I managed most of the time. Sometimes I had to be out of town, and I had to be out of town on short notice, and the only people I could rely on were my family, and they were there for me, and that's how I did what I had to do.
That's great. Now, Mrs. Okonta, have you ever experienced mom's guilt? And if yes, how were you able to handle it?
Mom's guilt, yes. I would say yes, and I don't think I'm ashamed of experiencing mom's guilt. I do things to make myself happy. Sometimes I just have to close the door and have my peace of mind. I have a set of twins, and my children were all maybe 1 year apart, and sometimes the reporting could go on forever and ever and ever and ever. So there comes a time where you just have to draw the line and do something that makes you really happy and shut out the rest of the world. So I don't know what I'll call my guilt. I think I'll call my mom's me time.
That's fair enough. Let's talk about your challenges.
Yes.
While juggling between your career and motherhood, what were those challenges that you would want to share with us, and how did you overcome them?
Seriously, the challenges were the amount of time that you had to put in to progress your career. Sometimes in my field, there are lots of deadlines, and those deadlines are taken seriously. So you find out that maybe you're supposed to be at home at a certain time, have lunch or have dinner, and make sure the children are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and you can't be there. Sometimes you just need to be able to say to yourself, I'm going to give this amount of time to the children and do whatever it is. It means working doubly hard and everything, but you do whatever it is to make sure that at a certain time, this 2 hours or this 3 hours, I'm going to be there before my children go to sleep. Those deadline times and those times where you have to deliver, and those times where things have to be done in a certain way. You just have to get them done and make the choice and try and sort of compartmentalize. This is the time for my work and this is the time for my children. Sometimes the children get less in those type of trying times, but that's what happens.
Okay. If you had one advice for a mother who juggles between parenting and her career, what would that advice be and why?
Certainly, I would really say that it's not one solution for everybody's situation. We do not all parent the same way. For instance, motherhood is such a beautiful and exciting journey. It's not something that I plan. I don't plan when my children decide to get sick. I don't plan for my children to call me in the middle of a meeting and say, Mom, I want to eat a bag of chips. It's not something you can actually plan for. It's not something I can actually tell you this is the way to go. For instance, I said I had a very fantastic support system. My daughter is in Aberdeen right now. She doesn't have that. She has to make serious arrangements when she has to go out of town to do her work. So it's not a one-size-fits-all thing, and it's not a do-or-die matter. If you cannot achieve what you want to achieve in your career at that point in time, I would say the children always come first. The career doesn't run away. I know so many people that had to put their careers on hold. We're all more or less at the same level now. So family comes first all the time. That's my advice.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Patience Okonta, for sharing this inspiring story with us. We have had a very wonderful conversation. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll dive deeply into how to prioritize time for yourself and your family in the midst of a demanding career. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Mighty Mom. So far, we've learned about the journey and challenges of being a working mom. Now let's get into some practical tips you can use to manage your time and prioritize both your career and family. We are going to talk about time management, delegation, and self-care. Time management actually is very, very key in juggling between your career and motherhood. Without doing this, it may be difficult for you to achieve your day's schedule. What about delegation? Who do you delegate to take care of your child? And even at your workplace, who do you delegate to in order for you to have a proper balance of your day activities? Now, self-care. The body is like an engine. It needs to be cared for. Gone are the days when mothers just refuse to take care of themselves, sacrificing their time, sacrificing their goals, sacrificing their dreams for their children, husbands, and their work. These days, you need to take care of that self. You need to love yourself. You need to care for yourself to be able to juggle between motherhood and career. So think about it. Mrs. Okonta, what's your take on these issues?
I am a full believer in self-care and delegation. I try not to delegate so much when it comes to my children. There are certain things concerning the children and the family that you must do yourself. For instance, when you're asked to come to the schools, you need to take time off from the office. And I try as much as possible not to delegate in those regards. But sometimes there are things that you have to delegate and the things you cannot meet up with. Self-care, I will always look after myself. Luckily, I had a husband that believed in me looking after myself, so I didn't have any problems with that. And my children always even was very, very happy to say, that's my mom. So that's another reason why every mom has to take care of themselves, so that you make the children also proud as well.
We will take a short break, so please stay with us. We've talked about some great tips on managing career and motherhood. Coming up, we'll hear a special message from another mighty mom who has found her own unique way of balancing it all. Stay tuned.
My name is Chisa Oladipo. I am a HR professional. I'm also a career coach. By the grace of God, I have 3 boys, and God has been helping me to manage both the career and the home front. It's not an easy journey, but with intentionality, I have been able to manage both. So one thing I know I do well is I delegate. I delegate a lot of things. I delegate house chores. I ensure that I have people that help me do things part time. I am intentional to be in my children's space. Like, I want to know everything that happens there. It's something that we must be conscious about. So working for 15 years now and managing 3 children, I'd say is being by intentionality. Remember that motherhood is the greatest accomplishment of life. No matter how chaotic it can be, embrace it, and I'm sure that you will scale through.
Hi, my name is Lois Kess. I am a businesswoman and also a journalist. Combining this together as motherhood is actually challenging. I take my beautiful daughter to school in the morning, her normal routine school runs, and then back to my business, attend to my clients. At the same time, once she's back from school, I make sure I attend to her assignments. Being a mother and combining my career together with it is kind of challenging, but it's worth it. It's worth doing because it actually gives me joy. Thank you so much, and do have a wonderful day.
See, no two journeys are the same, but every mother finds her own way to thrive. These women prove that it's possible to be both a dedicated mother and a successful professional. We'll be back in just a moment to wrap up this inspiring episode of Mighty Mom. You won't want to miss the final word of advice from today's guest.
Well, my experience here at School of Eloquence, I was able to overcome my shyness and anxieties because previously I was not able to communicate well with people. I wasn't able to look in the eyes of people. I was so nervous, but coming out today on my last master class, I was able to overcome all of my fears, and I am really grateful for that. Thank you so much, School of Eloquence.
School of Eloquence, teaching the world to speak.
We've had a wonderful conversation so far with Mrs. Okonta. I'm sure you will agree with me that it's been a wonderful day. Mrs. Okonta, your final advice to mothers out there.
I think that my final advice would be that every mother should be intentional and enjoy the experience of motherhood. Well, if you have to set your career aside for any reason, there's no better reason than for the children. So my advice is to love yourself, love your children, put the family first, always.
Motherhood is one of the toughest jobs in the world, and combining it with a career is no small feat. But remember, every day is an opportunity to thrive in both roles. You are enough, and your best is always enough. Thank you so much for joining us on this first episode of Mighty Mom. Next week, we'll be talking about the silent strength, unspoken sacrifices mothers make for their children. Don't forget to tune in, and always remember, you are a mighty mom. My name remains Sarah Roberts. Thank you.